Doing fine, thanks.
First venture out for you, I guess, in this last 4 days or so?
Well, I did get out earlier today.
Okay.
But, the 2 days before that, I didn't. No, I did not get out of the house.
The Good Baptists not go to church on Sunday, but the Methodists, we did a little bit of in-service online.
And that's what we had. We had online services, online message. We did not. Our Sunday schools did not meet. No.
Well,
We weren't actually in church.
there you go. Basketball games tonight are canceled all over the place. As we'll be, I'm guessing we'll be out of school the rest of the week. Not official for sure. I know we're out officially tomorrow, but just taking it one day at a time. That's the right thing to do. But Jeff, I don't see much way this weather's going to melt down off the hills and the covered places with trees and so forth. As I mentioned to you coming in, it's 5 miles and 10 feet from the radio station to from my house. And the toughest 10 feet were the 10 feet getting from my door of the garage to my outside car. Outside of that, everything was fine. But if it's under trees, shade, not getting the light of day, Jeff, it's not going to melt for a while.
That is correct. And we do have a lot of miles of back roads, and we'll call them secondary roads, for lack of a better term, all over Rutherford County. And the buses just takes forever to cover those, and so usually we're either out for the whole day or more. Sometimes we go in late, and that is of course possible, but it can be pretty tough out there.
Think of a school the size of Riverdale or Oakland or Stewart's Creek or Blackman or so forth, those high schools in particular. How many feet of ice are there that will not see sunshine for a while, that would have to be plowed up, chiseled out, whatever, to make things happen. So it's going to be a while to see what happens. I know the coaches are anxious to get their games in, but it'll take I'm assuming right now, Jeff, they've not even been able to practice.
Probably not. And sometimes the director of schools will make a decision on that and cancel all activities whatsoever. Now, I haven't, since I'm not involved anymore, I don't know what he did. But clearly, they're not going to play any games, evidently. And they shouldn't, by the way.
Back in our day when we were coaching, it was up to our principal to make that decision. Now that it is school board policy that until the superintendent of school says you can play, it's a no. And given the litigious society we live in these days, Jeff, I'd say it's much more likely than not that you're going to take caution on everything that you do.
I think in general, just, I'm not the superintendent, of course, but I would say you're probably better off most all the time if you cancel the day and you cancel a game. That means everything.
Yes.
And you don't. Now, you used to be able to. Well, we did it at Riverdale a time or two, I know. And it warmed up during the day, and we called the superintendent and asked for permission to play our game because the roads were much improved. And we got that permission, but it doesn't happen often.
I recall very much in my brain, snow days, going to pick up kids for practice. Jeff, you can't do that anymore for sure.
No.
And shouldn't have been doing it then, probably.
No, should not.
But we did. Very eager coach to make sure we got all that practice time in. It was just so important, right?
Well, we thought it was.
It was, but it wasn't that important, was
no, it really was not. I think you're just better off rather than just worrying yourself to death about it. And as we've talked before, this is inevitable. This is going to happen. You might as well just admit it to yourself. The player that will not show up will be your best player. That's the one that can't get to the school, okay, or they have no ride, or something is wrong. And then the practice that you have becomes sort of meaningless in a way.
In some ways, and you got players that you know, and in my heart of hearts are saying, wait a minute, I showed up.
Yeah.
And on Friday night, when the ball goes up in the air, Miss so-and-so or Mr. so-and-so that was not in practice will be in the starting lineup. Well, I'll be sitting on the bench even though I was here at practice.
That is correct. Exactly.
And a
what
parent
will
might
happen.
bring that to your attention as well.
And it'll drive you nuts. It really will.
It will.
But I know we had on occasion. I know this happened. A player would call the coach or call somebody at the school or whatever and said, "I want to come. I want to be there. I can't get there.
Right.
There's no bus, and my parents are working, or whatever, and I can't. Well, okay. I'm sure everybody understands that, but they don't understand that.
One thing that's happened this year in pro football playoffs, Jeff, 3 of the last 4 games I've seen have been in snow, and that's even though you expect Green Bay, Buffalo, Denver to be places that snows, you don't expect to be playing playoffs in all 3 of those places at the same time, but they sure did. Chicago, Jeff, it's been a really rough time. Tell me, when you were 25 years old, would you have gone out and sat in the stadium in 5-degree weather, snow blowing in your face, and screaming and hollering for your team?
No.
Really, not even at 25?
I don't think so.
I think I would have then. I'm not doing it at this age.
I might have for my Washington team. I don't know what to call them anymore.
Let's ask it this way. What is the worst weather game you ever sat through in football that you remember?
Well, that's really not a problem, and I will surprise you with my answer.
Okay, good.
All right. It was the Smyrna football team at Manchester, and it was raining, and it was cold, and it was windy.
And it was miserable.
And everybody around me had an umbrella. You couldn't see anything at all. And matter of fact, in Smyrna, I do remember this also about that game. I know Smyrna lost. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they were unbeaten. It was the last game of the year, and I believe they were unbeaten. But I do remember this. Smyrna got penalized 5 yards because they were not out of the locker room on time to start the game.
Oh, wow.
At whatever time it was supposed to start. And I'd never seen a team penalized. I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it has. But you are supposed to be out there, but for some reason, Bud Rakes didn't have them out there.
Football is one of those games that is almost a rite of passage that you play in bad weather. You cancel the game. Now, we see it more now, but because the weather forecast will tell you they're going to rain tomorrow night, let's just go ahead and move it. But Google in sometimes the 10 worst weather football games in the NFL or college football and just see what you see. I recall one game in Chicago, I believe it was, the fog was so bad the announcers could not see the game.
Right.
And trying to call it. And therefore, the wide receiver couldn't see the ball, right?
Right.
The defensive back couldn't see the ball. But they still played.
Yeah, I've broadcast a few like that. I remember one at Kingsport was really particularly bad, and there have been others. The year Red Bank beat Riverdale in the championship game, it snowed at the half, and middle. God bless them, everyone was not prepared for anything like that at all. And they tried to clear off some. No, it just didn't work. I mean, you just couldn't do anything. But you could see now this Denver game this weekend, particularly the fourth quarter. It was that's bad.
That's the game that the first half was played in nice conditions, at least from a visibility standpoint. Because I took a break at halftime, walked back in 15 minutes later, and I saw the field all but covered by snow in just that period of time. I was shocked.
It was. I don't know how a receiver could even see a pass thrown to them. They did throw a few short passes. Both teams did, and of course it turned out that field goal that they got was Seattle got was big, wasn't it?
It was that. Have you ever gone out in the outside world in very cold weather, and 10 minutes later you feel like your hands couldn't possibly tie your shoe, catch a football, catch yourself, nail a nail, screw a screw, anything like that?
Not lately, but yes, I know. I used to do a good deal of hunting, rabbits and squirrels particularly, and there was some days where I wished I'd never left the house. But yes, very cold.
Well, all that said, Jeff, those games are out of the way. Super Bowl is set. Seattle and New England Patriots. They have a coach that used to be in Nashville.
They do, and I think it's an unusual situation with him. I don't believe that the public, I don't think, is really mad at him.
No,
I don't see that at all.
They've taken up arms almost on his side in Nashville, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so.
For the most part.
And I could join them in that. I think that he had a job that just really, and it may still be there. We don't know, but it's just a dysfunctional front office. And you're changing coaches, and you're changing general managers, and the owner lives in a mansion in Houston, and that sort of thing. And it's just not a good situation. And he left. It does help his public image because he did not coach last year. He was an assistant counselor or whatever in Cleveland, and then he got the job that he has now, which is where he played, and won 3 Super Bowls with them. But I don't see that there's any bitterness toward him or him toward Nashville particularly. I don't think
there's someone in my house who cannot pronounce his name. First of all, and second, ask the question: didn't they used to coach in Nashville? Why did they let him go? This guy's going to the Super Bowl. Why did they let him go? And I found myself gasping for air. Hey, his name is Vrabel, not Verbal or Veribo or whatever like that. It is kind of hard to pronounce because it's not spelled correctly.
Right.
And second, how do you say, well, it was just dysfunctional in Nashville because they just didn't get along. They just didn't see eye to eye. And, Jeff, that really does happen a lot,
sure.
right?
Sure it does.
Good coach can get in a wrong situation and look bad or vice versa. Bill Belichick, by the way, is not going into the Hall of Fame on his first ballot this time around. After winning 6 Super Bowls, that's got to be political in some way, I'd say. But do you remember his first coaching job?
His first one?
In pro football? The Cleveland Browns. It was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
Goes to New England, and it works. And it works, and it works, and it kept on working until the last year or two. And then he goes to North Carolina, and it doesn't work at all.
But between Cleveland and New England, he was the Jets coach for one day.
For one day?
Remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah, and he quit, which was pretty smart, I'd say.
Maybe that's why in New England hired him.
But you know that guy.
I didn't know that.
Now, I'm certainly not a Bill Belichick fan at all. And I don't care really one way or another about him. But he did so many things that he was mixed up in them somehow, some way, that he just the shirts that he wore.
Oh my!
I mean, that was just telling the NFL. Well, okay, you know what I mean. And he
hoodies that I've even thrown out of my closet, and I wear hoodies a long time.
Well, he did that, and he said he did that. He said it after he left there. He said, "Well, that's sort of my thing." Well, yeah, it was, and he was telling the commissioner of football
you got to find a stick, you know.
I don't know, and the Deflategate thing, and the Spygate. I guess maybe people have forgotten about all that. And I'm not saying that he was responsible for any of it or all of it. I'm just saying he did a lot of things, and he clearly, his interviews, they were awful. It was just insulting.
Well, wait a minute now. Well, getting into the Hall of Fame, isn't it supposed to be about what you do on the field?
I didn't say the decision was right. I said he had made so many people mad that evidently it cost him some votes. He'll go in.
So people actually have their mind on other things besides voting for when they do that. And the answer, obviously, yes. I'm being very sarcastic here with this.
That is right.
Because the off-the-field thing is what cost him that Hall of Fame first time through. He'll get in eventually, I would think.
Of course he will.
And should, because nobody's won 6 Super Bowls, am I right?
That is correct.
And 2 more as defensive coordinator someplace. So that's 8 rings. That's not too bad.
Well, I don't know how disappointed he is today or not. I don't know. But hey, he brought a lot of this on himself. I mean, yes. I'm sorry, he did. And I was watching late night TV last night. I'm a Jimmy Kimmel guy. And I was watching him, and I believe it was him that said that about his Hall of Fame chances or whatever, and he said that his present girlfriend was in kindergarten when he played the first Super Bowl. Well, and I got to counting up.
Jeff, some people put that in the X column, in the win column.
And I'm sitting there on the couch adding up the years, and I think he's about right. She's 20-something.
All right, let's take a break and come back and talk about a winning coach.
Okay,
deserves some recognition. We'll be right back on All Sports Talk.
This is Chip Walters, and I'm honored to be your 2024 MTAR Realtor of the Year. I'm with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and like many of you, I've seen the real estate market shift and change. People often ask, Chip, what's really going on? Well, that's a great question, and I believe in answering with solid, factual data. So let's cut through some of the noise. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a conversation about your real estate goals and the current market trends in your neighborhood. You can find all my contact information at choosechip.net.
Every team knows which play can be a winning move. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Womack, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850. It's a winning move that saves you time and money. Your ride, your stuff. You live with them together. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Womack. It's smart to protect them together, to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your auto and renters.
You know, everyone has a more. First, it's a pony. Then to be on the cheer squad. Your more grows up just like you do. But your more can still carry you away or make you cheer. At First Bank, banking local gets you more. More of our time, more access to local bankers, more flexibility, and more product choices. Because getting more empowered and confident helps you pursue your more. That never grows old. First Bank. Bank local, get more. Member FDIC.
Your pet is more than just a pet. They're your family's fearless protector, your fetching athlete, and your crumbs on the floor detector. The warm, snuggly heartbeat at your feet. Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Deb Insel, and I understand why your pet means so much to you. Did you know that State Farm and Trupanion have teamed up to give your furry family members the protection they deserve? Pet medical insurance. It's another way State Farm is here to help life go right for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
I've always been a big fan of auctions. Get instant sale, no contingencies.
That means the sale of your property won't depend on an inspection, financing, or appraisals.
I've known the guys over there my entire life.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
Hi, this is Wade Hayes of Toots Restaurants, and our family would like to thank this community for supporting Toots for 40 years.
Head over to Toots.com for our daily specials, our menu, and all of our locations. Check out our Kids Club for some extra deals. Thank you to our patrons and customers.
Thank you for dining with us since 1985.
Thank you, Rutherford County.
Thank you for dining with us for 40 years.
Toots. Good food and fun.
Good afternoon. Moving a little bit better on the west side. Over here from this earlier wreck on 40 eastbound at White Bridge Pike. It's busy out here, busier than it was 15-20 minutes ago on 24 through Antioch, pushing on out into Murfreesboro. Lots of radar out through the Mount Juliet area a little bit earlier. There's still some danger out here on some of these back roads, and all that stuff that's left over is going to freeze over again tonight. STR Towing and Recovery says give them a call if you need their help here in Middle Tennessee. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnsradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back into All Sports Talk on this snowy, well, make that icy Tuesday here in Murfreesboro. Tim Tackett along with Jeff Jordan. Jeff brought to you by Fans Heating and Air, Lee Coleman Financial Services with Edward Jones. So Rick Insel sits at $4.99 after his road win at Sam Houston the weekend before. Comes in to a Thursday night, Saturday night, doubleheader weekend with Delaware and Liberty, expecting to get to win number 500. I was there on Thursday night and expected it to happen. And, Jeff, that was just a tough night all the way around. Delaware hit the first shot or two. Middle couldn't hit the broadside of the barn, and so we had to delay it. We finally got there on Friday night, as it turned out to be. Were you there Thursday night?
No, it was not.
Tough night. Very young ball club, and I thought maybe it had overcome some things with Jeff. They just really struggled offensively. And I think there was some weight involved with the kids anticipating that 500th win. I know Coach Insel doesn't bring that up in the locker room or in the practice session or whatever, but the kids had to know that, and it appeared to me they might have been a little tight.
And I guess that's probably so. I would say, and I do not know, I would be surprised if he ever mentioned it before the game.
Very much
I
surprised.
wouldn't think he would. He's got a lot more to worry about than one game. And He did get the 500, so, and congratulations to him. That's an unbelievable number. That's a number that very likely will probably never be broken at Middle Tennessee State University, one coach. That's just not going to happen. But, I hope it is broken.
And to Delaware's credit, they played very well early and took the spirit out and built a lead, Jeff, that we haven't seen in Murphy Center in a while. I think they were up like 26, 27 points in the third quarter, and it was sit there in disbelief. Middle made a nice run back, and frankly, if they could hit a couple key shots, might have even made it a ball game. Did not, but came back the next night against Liberty and won, win number 500. And Jeff, the record that will never be broken. And I didn't realize this until early last week. Someone pointed this out, and then they brought it up Friday night in the celebration. The only coach in history of college basketball that's won 500 games at the high school level and 500 games at the Division I NCAA level. That is a record that will never be broken.
I agree with that, and it's probably also likely. We need to just be open here. Usually a high school coach that has 500 wins or more is not going to be getting a college job. That's just the way it is.
Or applying for a college job. Not that they wouldn't get it, but by you got into 500 wins, that means you've been there,
Long
20
time.
seasons, 22 seasons, 23 seasons. You're settled in and not looking for a second career, which is what happened there. So you're right about that.
I also thought when I was listening to the radio course, and I thought, well, he beat the wrong team. He beat the lesser of the two evils.
Oh, you're right.
and he beat the better basketball team. But it doesn't matter. They all count one or minus one, as the case might be.
Liberty played on Friday night because of the weather that was pending, and Liberty playing in Bowling Green on Thursday night, and Delaware, who was middle Thursday night opponent, going to Bowling Green for the scheduled Saturday game. Both those teams from the Northeast, Jeff, I'm sure they were anxious to get out of town, and so the opportunity to play on a Friday night was the right thing to do for all concerned, and I trust those teams were able to get the game in and get back home before all heck broke loose and made it in. And so the game was played on Friday night. Middle did break out early, struggled, gave up an 8-point lead right before the first half and went into half down by a point, but came back and won it by, I think, 10 points or so, fairly comfortably at the end of the thing. And then the celebration, I thought, afterwards was just spectacular. I thought they did a nice job.
When the other teams, when they left and finished, win or lose, they were heading right back to more snow.
Sure.
And deeper snow.
But they wanted to do that in their hometown, in their home university, in their own beds, as opposed to being, because they didn't get out of Nashville on Saturday. Jeff, they weren't getting out on Sunday. They weren't getting out on Monday. They weren't getting out on Tuesday. So that was the key to that.
Yeah, I saw the film. Of course, some of these national TV stations, they don't, well, they love the airport, and they go out there all the time. And I guess that's okay, but they showed film of the airport, and you've been out there many times, so have I. And there wasn't 20 people walking up and down the lobby there, or the entrance, because everything was canceled. It was all not going to fly.
I plan to do an interview with Rick for a different radio show here later on in the week. I'm going to ask a couple questions. One, I'll ask him, give me your opinion, what you think. Which was tougher to do, win 500 games at the high school level or 500 games at the university level?
Ooh, I don't know what he'd say to that.
My guess is he's going to say, I don't know.
Yeah, he might. I don't know what his reaction would be to that. I'd say, I'd just walk the tightrope.
Let's ask it this way. What is the biggest difference between the two? Coaching at the high school level and the Division I NCAA level. What do you think the biggest difference would be?
Well, the portal has changed everything, of course.
Well, of course. Let's take the portal out of it. In the 20 years, 19 years, first 19 years he's at Middle Tennessee, portal was not part of the play. So he played in that world.
Well, I think it was harder to get the players for the college level.
Yeah,
I think so. Hard to get information. Just difficult, but they're both difficult.
They are. And a lot of folks will say coaching is coaching, and I agree with that. But coaching 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds and 19-year-olds, then 19, 20, 21-year-olds that have classes to go to. Some of them are married, Jeff, going through this process. Two different stages of life. Both of them have their own unique challenges, and I guess the fact what I'm trying to get to in this whole thing to be able to handle both sets of those problems. Pretty unique to be able to handle those two sets of things because they are different.
I would agree 100%.
Like we've talked a good bit on this show, and others do as well. When they look to hiring coaches like the Titans did, hire a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator that has never coached the head coaching position. It's a different mindset, and many offensive coordinators do not make a good head coach because they just don't have the skill set that's required there because it is different.
Well, I do think also, I could be wrong about this, but I think there's a lot of emphasis by the general public, and I'm including myself in that that's very interested in who the head coach is going to be, and I think that's fair. I think that's obvious, but I tell you what, those defensive and offensive coordinators, that is a critical situation, and you better get the right guy.
Let's go back 22 years when Chris Massaro was named athletic director in February or March of 2005, I should say. And his first hire was after Stephanie Smith got the job at Alabama. You got to hire a girls basketball coach. He knows nothing. He comes from South Carolina, Jeff. Grew up in Colorado. Knows nothing about Middle Tennessee basketball in general at all. Not knowing how important high school basketball here is and so forth. He comes in and hires a high school coach that he does not know. What about it? Best hire he made, obviously, in his 21 years here. I'm going to ask him that question at some point in time. What was the selling point there? What was it that blew you away in the interview? Because I heard him say that. But what do you think Rick was able to do or say, or how gutsy was it for Chris Massaro to make that hire?
I really don't know. I would say and will say that he had people here already working on it. And I have been told, maybe, I don't know if this is right or not, you can ask him this question. I don't think he knew until the plane almost landed, and that he was going to have to do that right away. That was something to do. And boy, that had to be tough. I mean, you'd just be lost, wouldn't you? Really. You wouldn't know Rick Insell from anybody else. No, but he had people that did.
I'd be interested to know how much Diane Cummings might have had to do with the process one way or the other, because she was here played here, or didn't, I take that back, did not play here, but coached volleyball here, was hired in the early 80s, coached with Lewis Bivens, right on through some things. She knew the history, she knew of Rick Insell and so forth. Rick had a little brashness about him in high school as well, Jeff. You talk about people having some things that kind of go against you. There was more than a few people didn't care much for Rick because he won too much, right, at the high school level?
Yeah, that's always a detriment. Yeah, that's right. I don't know how to really approach that idea. He played many games, many state championships at Middle, right on that floor, and he was well known.
Let's be fair here. At that particular time, he was not particularly popular in Murfreesboro.
No,
because he's beating Riverdale and he's beating Oakland.
Right.
Over and over and over. So that's not something you like to do. And so, but he comes in, gets the job, and I think lost more games than he won the first year or two, and then from there on in, Jeff, it's just been lights out. Congratulations to him and to his ball club, and frankly, in lots of ways, Jeff, this is his most challenging coaching job he's had at Middle Tennessee probably in 20 years.
Smaybe so.
This year.
Yeah, maybe so.
The youth he's got.
And he's from Woodbury and started coaching there, and then ended up at Shelbyville. But I'll tell you, I think I told you this the other day, but I just thought that this says a lot about Rick. When we went to a funeral together, and I was there, Leland Jennings, Cindy Jennings, who was the MVP of the state tournament, and Rick came to the visitation, and so you know how that goes and what you do, and then he walked back up and sat or came by me, and he stopped. And he was telling me about Riverdale. Of course, some of the players were there.
Sure.
And then there's another daughter, Leanne, who played. And anyway, he said, I told him that I never beat him. And I thought, by golly, he's right. He didn't beat them. When those kids played, he didn't beat them. Of course, the last year, Nobody could beat them until Warren County did it in the championship game. And I just thought, well, boy, I tell you what, memories go on a long time, don't they?
Oh, they do.
They really do.
They do. Yeah, 1979, you mentioned that game, Riverdale won the last 6-on-6 basketball game in the history of high school basketball that year, losing to Warren County in that championship game at Murphy Center.
That is correct. And it was just one of those nights where we just, my wife and I went, of course, and was pulling for Riverdale as best we could. And it was close all the way. But we couldn't pull it out at the end. And I believe that would have, I think Riverdale's record would have been 31-0.
I think that's correct.
Something like that, 31-32-0 if had they won that basketball game. And, of course, the crowd was very much pro Riverdale, of course, but there were a lot of Warren County people there as well. And the guy that coached Warren County was a Hale, James Hales, who the Central Gym is named for. He was the head coach at Warren County at that time. And, he was a fine basketball coach. And they got a state championship, I'd say, mostly because of him.
Well, congratulations to Rick and to his family. I think you and I can agree he's had opportunities to move on to other spots, wouldn't you think?
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, we never hear about him.
Chose to stay here, A, because he's alumni here. B, Dev's got a good position in Shelbyville with the State Farm Insurance there. And C, I think he recognized he could make plenty of money to live very comfortably and can maintain his family life and lifestyle and so forth and coach his alma mater, which I think is pretty special.
I think so too. And all those years now, maybe other people have heard. I don't know, but I have not heard that any other program had made an attempt to seriously, at least, to hire him as their basketball coach. It's possible that someone did. I don't know, but I agree with you. He's got a lot going here. Woodbury, Shelbyville, and Murfreesboro. You don't get any more Middle Tennessee than that. And he's coached basketball all that time.
My guess is when the phone call came in, or two or three, I'm not interested, because I don't think that he really was. And it would have been interesting, frankly, to see how Middle Tennessee basketball, Shelbyville basketball, would have translated in Illinois or Colorado or Texas someplace. What do you think?
Well, I don't really know, of course. You can't know that. But
we can't.
I do know this. In the high school days, Rick won a lot of games out of state.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, he's national champion.
Yeah, he traveled
a couple of times.
And there were a couple that I remember one against the Pennsylvania team that he was not expected to even be in the ball game, and he won. So, good. I'm glad. And it looks like he's going to go on forever, doesn't it?
And his challenge has been in the last few years is dealing with players from foreign countries.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a young man from Woodbury talking to a Serb, someone from Russia, someone from Spain, someone
correct.
from Taiwan,
and he's doing all that now.
I don't know if he's doing it well or not, but he's communicating some way or another.
Somebody's doing it.
Somebody's doing it. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more after the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters.
This is Pastor Nikki Ajapong, lead pastor of Holy Hill Chapel in Murfreesboro.
Here are sermons on WGNS every Sunday night at 7:30.
Extending the love of God.
Reviving the community at holyhillchapeltn.org.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit FirstShotTN.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's FirstShotTN.org.
WGNS. Our family at Demas's Restaurant are proud to support local emergency responders who put their lives on the line for our community each and every day. This is Peter Demas, and here is this week's Demas's Emergency Responder of the Week.
Murfreesboro police officer Dustin Nicholson talked a woman off the bridge over I-24 on the Medical Center Parkway. She'd climbed over the railing and was moments before falling. Officer Nicholson spoke to her calmly,
trying to ease her panic. When words were no longer enough, he quickly secured her and pulled the woman back to safety. Thank you, Murfreesboro Police Officer Dustin Nicholson.
When you see a firefighter, police officer, paramedic, or telecommunicator going the extra mile, let WGNS know, and we at Demas's Restaurant will salute them as the emergency responder of the week.
It's Commander Chuck, and it's my goal to get you to and from work each weekday around the congestion and all the accidents. Listen for my traffic reports every weekday morning and afternoon here on News Radio WGNS, and see real-time traffic information at ontimetraffic.net.
Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
As you get ready for a couple of basketball games this week, the men play at home Thursday night against Liberty, and then on Saturday, the men play against Western Kentucky at 3. The women play against Western Kentucky at 6 p.m. I can tell you I was over there this afternoon on campus. Jake Jacobs Construction has done a great job of getting the Greenland Drive parking lot clear. There is a clear path into the building with no ice, so you should be in good shape when it comes time for the basketball games on Thursday and Saturday. Speaking of basketball, the Conference USA Championships are back in Huntsville again, just 2 hours away from Murfreesboro. Third year in a row. Action tips off on Tuesday, March the 10th, concludes with both championship games on Saturday the 14th. Tickets for the Conference USA Championships are available online through the Blue Raider ticket office. All session booklets include entrance into every game during the 5-day tournament. The ticket booklets are $175 each and come directly from MTSU's ticket allotment, providing support to both basketball programs. And all tickets will be delivered electronically on Tuesday, March 3rd, 1 week prior to the start date of the championships. Again, you can go online to goblueraiders.com and get more information right now. Well, women's basketball continuing her standout freshman year. Middle Tennessee guard Blair Bogus has been named the Conference USA Freshman of the Week again. Bogus helped guide the Blue Raiders to a 1-1 week at home against Delaware and Liberty, highlighted by a 63-54 victory over Liberty on Friday night that marked head coach Rick Ensel's 500th career win. She opened the week against Delaware with just 4 points and 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal, but followed that up with one of her most complete games of the season against Liberty, posting 22 points, 8 rebounds, had 6 steals. She added a block shot and an assist while shooting an efficient 7 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, and 6 of 8 at the free throw line. Though her first season in a Blue Raider uniform, Bogus has firmly established herself as one of Conference USA's most impactful freshmen, consistently contributing on both ends of the floor in key moments. All right, sticking with women's athletics, Middle Tennessee women's golf sits 4th overall through 2 rounds at the Seabest Intercollegiate at the San Jose Country Club in Jacksonville, Florida. The Blue Raiders are set to enter the final round at plus 29. Middle Tennessee posted rounds of plus 14 and plus 15, staying within striking distance of the top 3 as the tournament heads into its final day. The Blue Raiders trail top 20 teams in Florida and Duke at the top, but remain well positioned to move up in the standings with a strong closing round. We'll have the final round information for you coming up tomorrow. The Blue Raider women's tennis team concluded a 2-match weekend in Fort Myers with a split, achieving a 6-1 victory over Florida A&M on Saturday and suffering a 7-0 loss to Florida Gulf Coast on Sunday at the FGCU Tennis Complex. And tomorrow morning on the roundtable, Coach Jerry Myers, Dick Palmer, and Bob Jameson join me for some Hot Stove League baseball tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, right here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's All Sports Talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
Good afternoon and welcome back into All Sports Talk. Thanks, Jeff, for that thing. And I think I may listen in tomorrow morning. That sounds a pretty good thing to do. It does a good job at Round Table. I talked to Wayne Blair, by the way, our mutual friend this morning, lives in Nashville, and proud to say that he's had power his whole time. But he did have a tree crash down and hit his windshield.
Yeah,
his car.
he told me. He was supposed to fix it this morning, I think.
The guy was on the way when I talked to him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Spoke to that. My son Jeremy lives in Nashville, and he's had power the entire time. So the over 200,000 that were without power, they neither one were amongst those. And Jeff, my understanding is it's going to be Sunday, they feel like, before they're going to be able to restore power to everybody. That's, even though you got linemen working everywhere, that's a tall order, and those four folks are working long hours under terrible conditions, and I'm sure they're not getting patted on the back near enough. And so I'll pat them on the back for you.
I tell you what, there are miracles out there every day. What these men and women do for the general public. I was laughing with Wayne because he was not really all that upset. I guess he'd already been upset, but I was telling him, I said, well, you park your car.
Well, he's an insurance guy. He knows the insurance will pay for it.
Yeah, that's what my wife said, and I agree with that. I said, you park your car outside and a tree falls on it. So you park it in the garage and the tree falls on the garage, and then the garage falls on your car. You can't win. So, I'm sure he'll be fine.
How are you with a chainsaw, by the way?
I'm nothing with a chainsaw and want nothing to do with them.
Well,
you?
We have a border of trees between my neighbor to our left side of my house, and he called me Sunday morning and said, we got a lot of tree problems with our tree line over here. And I hadn't looked out because I can't see well toward that area from inside the house. So I got out this afternoon and perused around a little bit, and he's right. We got several trees that's going to have some work done. But he's younger than me, so I think he'll probably do more lifting. I'll probably supervise.
Well, okay. And in my neighborhood, which is Bellwood, Bellwood was built in the early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm normally, quite often, the realtors, whoever, developers, they'll come into some area and they cut down every tree in sight, right? And then they build houses, well, now those trees that they replanted are now 50 and 60 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And so every once in a while, one of them falls. And I've had it happen to me, but nothing has hit the house yet. So I'm hoping that it stays that way.
Well, I'm in Riverview subdivision, which was developed in the 80s. And so we've got a lot of trees in our backyard. Love them, except when they fall down. And I've had 4 so far, over the period of years, no heavy damage, and I've got them trimmed up close to the house, so I think we'll be okay. But a tree could possibly come down and hit my windshield of my car for sure.
Well, my neighbor, who has now moved not too long ago, we removed 2 or 3 big pine trees from his yard, but it was almost in my yard. But anyway, and if they had ever come down, they would have just crushed anything underneath.
Sure.
So we removed them, but we've got others that, they look a little shaky to me. I don't know.
Well, enough on the tree report. Let's talk Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Seattle and New England are playing, and this one will be in a nice climate for sure.
Yep.
And so you said that you were pulling for both those teams, and for the first time in a while, the 2 teams you wanted to win did win.
That's right. You're exactly right. And
then you misspoke about the West Coast, but we won't bring that up.
Okay. Well, frankly, whoever wins this Super Bowl, that's fine with me. I really don't care. I think both of them have got a lot of positive things to say about them. And I was never a New England fan at all when Belichick was there, and Tom Brady, do not like at all. But I like Coach Verbal and Vrabel, and I like Seattle, so we're going to be okay.
You're waiting for the halftime show, I'm sure.
No, I don't care anything about it. I don't even know who it is. I don't.
You don't care to know. If I told you, you would know who it is.
I wouldn't.
And I can't. I don't think I can say it correctly, so I'll just leave it alone. But it's for the younger set.
Oh, like Jonas over here. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's laughing, but he's shaking his head. I don't know what that means.
That's that'll be a week from Sunday, so we got a week away from football a little bit. Basketball, we'll tee it back up on Thursday night. Middle Tennessee takes on league-leading Liberty. Jeff, the Raiders now moving toward what is a really packed bunch. Liberty has set themselves out to the top, and unless something crazy happens, they're going to win the league, it appears. But 2 through 7 or 8 in men's basketball in Conference USA is a crapshoot. Middle could be anywhere, I think, from 2 to 8, and love to get an upset on Thursday night.
Oh, I certainly agree with that. And I think when the men play, oh my gosh, I know when they play. Last 2 or 3 games in a row that I've been to, they've been like the last few seconds.
Oh, yeah. They love to play them down to the wire.
and they've gotten some breaks along the way, too, when they did that. And maybe they created those breaks themselves. I don't know. But anyway, they were fun to watch. And they won. I like that.
Ladies do not play on Thursday night, which is unusual. But both teams come in on Saturday and play Western Kentucky. So it's a doubleheader, and you can go 2 for 1. If for those of us that have tickets to both, we can share with our friends, whatever. But if you'd like to go see 2 good basketball games, Saturday would be the day to do it. Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. I think the games are at 3 and 5:30. Don't hold me to that, Jeff, but check your GoBlueRaiders.com for that time frame. They'll be heard on WGNS radio, but Saturday afternoon should be a great day to be at the Murph.
Well, as you are very well aware, I'm not a Western fan at all.
Oh, I'm aware of that, yes.
And I would love it if the Raiders could win both of them. And we've had considerable success with them, and then we've had a drought. And here lately, it's been kind of a drought. So we'll see, what can happen. But I'm hoping that we can pull out a couple of wins here.
Well, Middle Tennessee women will take on Western, and Western is struggling, Jeff, mightily this year for sure. In women's basketball, they have long been one of the 2 or 3 teams. Liberty and Middle and Western have been the 3 real stalwarts of Conference USA for a while, but Western's having a tough year in women's basketball. Men's team is right in that pack of 500. Could win or lose it. Middle for sure needs to be Western on Saturday.
I think we can do that, and we'll do that.
I think we can.
I'm very hopeful anyway. Our crowds have been pretty good, but now, Saturday, hey, I don't know if you or anybody else necessarily have looked at the long-range forecasts, but we may well have some more snow, and we're going to have cold temperatures for at least the next 10 days.
Yeah, it's going to be cold for sure, and the weather the weather says last time I saw 20% chance of some type of precipitation on Saturday, and given the weather temperatures we're going to get, I'd say that's either ice or snow, and I figured this out, Jeff. Snow is easier to drive and walk around in than ice is for sure.
I agree with that.
So,
and we've got to get Skylar there, my great grandson. If we don't get him
he
there,
going nuts?
It's not. No, it's serious business. We're going to have him with a therapist or something if we don't get him to a Blue Raider game of some sort.
So how do you explain away that Skylar, we can't go tonight because the weather's too bad?
Yeah. Well, this business of you got to go to school tomorrow, that only works so far if there is school tomorrow, which there's not tonight, for instance. But yeah, okay. Well, I guess he'll take it, but he doesn't like it.
Skylar's how old?
He's 8.5. Oh, he's closer to 9 than that.
Now he's the young man that a couple weeks ago I walked in and he was showing me the scorecard and the lineup, and he had it all figured out just exactly what was going on, who was in first place and second place. He's very businesslike about his approach to his game.
Very serious about it. He just loves the
Who's
Blue
his favorite
Raiders.
player?
Oh, I don't know, Tim. He likes them all. He does. He really does. I don't know who it is this year. I don't know.
Doesn't have one.
Well, maybe not.
All the above. That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for coming in today in this cold. Hopefully by next Tuesday it'll finally even up a little bit. All those folks out there, take care of yourself. Behave. Be careful. And Chip Walters tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock should be fun to listen to. And, of course, All Sports Talk tomorrow at 5. Thanks for listening.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we treat your vehicle like it's one of our own.